They strode into San Francisco tall and proud, like the Giants they truly are. And even after Joe Montana had opened the game with 2 quick touchdowns, they refused to believe that they could be cut down in size. In a contest that turned into a battle of the trenches, the Giants not only took the steam out of the 49ers' high-powered attack, but 3 times they took the ball out of Joe Montana's hands. Harry Carson's inspiring interception and subsequent score touched off a team-wide belief that this was not just a game they were simply proud to partake in. This was a game they could win. The 49ers were shut out for the entire second half, while the Giant offense time and time again penetrated deep into San Francisco territory. In the end, however, missed opportunities and a stubborn 49er defense that was on its way to Super Bowl glory denied the Giants access to the end zone. The 49ers went on to reclaim the NFL championship. But on this day, the Giants laid claim to being the toughest playoff obstacle on San Francisco's path to Palo Alto. Only months before, on a Monday in October, these same Giants had been badly beaten by San Francisco. That day, the Giants were playing back to preseason press clippings, predictions that had labeled them a team too new in character and too young in age to embark on any noble purpose. But when prophecy gave way to reality, the tale of the 1984 Giants would be a revelation, written by the players themselves. Before the year was over, the Giants not only regained respectability, they would go on to challenge the Washington Redskins for supremacy in the NFC East. And en route to a triumphant playoff trek to the West Coast, they would, in this their 60th season, shake the pillars of power that be in the NFL and truly live up to the name, the Giants. After emerging from the shadows of a disappointing debut season, Giant head coach Bill Parcells set out to light a competitive fire under his team in 1984. He did so by surrounding himself with 22 first or second year players. Such roster upheavals often promise unpredictability. But in this case, unpredictability and youth served the Giants well in 1984.
Now carrying toward the 10-yard line. He gets away from him and rolls into the end zone. Touchdown, Giants. The ball, Giants have it. It's a live ball. What happened? And the Giants got in the end zone. Throw into the right skinny to get away from pressure. Fires. Intercepted. Intercepted by Curry.
The new-look Giants literally turned over a new leaf. Displaying a veteran savvy that belied their age, in 1 year they dramatically improved their takeaway ratio from a -22 to a +8, the NFC's third best mark.
They're after him. They got him. Free ball. Giants might have it. Sacked. He's sacked. Free ball at the 20. No. He's going to keep on going. He's going to go all the way. 50. At the 30. He's going to get a touchdown if that's a live ball.
While Giant defenders were skillfully pilfering their opponents, a spirited set of first and second year receivers on offense were proving to be an equally larcenous lot.
Sims with a drop back behind the 20. Good protection. Over the middle is tipped. He almost intercepted. No, the Giants had the ball. The catch by Moe, and he took it away. He stole it away. Takes the handoff again. He'll pass from the 27. He's throwing long. Looking for Williams. He's got him. He's going in. What a play. Sims looks right. Looks corner in the corner. Touchdown. Kyle Emanuel.
They were headstrong, soft-handed, and swift. They took the league by storm, and their precocious ability to grasp the intricacies of a pro offense even astonished their field leader.
We had some flashes where we looked good in training camp and other times we didn't. And I was pretty skeptical of how the receivers are going to work out with me. I thought, well, maybe 8 games in the year we'll finally get our receivers together or whatever. And it was funny, it seemed like from opening day, we had a big day, and the receivers just, all of a sudden they were doing things right and we were clicking, and it's kind of stayed the way ever since.
Opening day 1984 was not just the beginning of a new season. It was a day when the Giants took a quantum leap that sent them soaring into the modern era of space-age football. Quarterback Phil Simms lit up the Meadowlands skies for 409 yards and 4 touchdowns in the 28-27 victory. One week later, Simms was still sizzling. He hit on 3 more TD passes, including this 65-yarder to wide receiver Byron Williams, as the Giants ran away from the Cowboys 28-7. The Giants rolled to 3 victories in their first 4 games. And while their new air attack was a primary reason for their success, this rapid start also had its roots in the trenches. With an emphasis on size, a restructuring of the offensive line began when big Kevin Belcher successfully converted to center. The Giants found the right formula by shifting Brad Benson back to tackle and inserting newcomer Chris Godfrey into the starting lineup. Along with impressive rookie tackle Carl Nelson, number 63, and the steady Billiard, number 67, this young forward wall gave Phil Simms the time he needed to become acquainted with rookie receivers like Lionel Manuel and number 88, Bobby Johnson, as well as second-year tight end Zeke Mowat, number 84. The durable free agent from Florida State not only continued to prove he belonged in the NFL, but blossomed into one of the league's premier tight ends. Yet when all was said and done, the lead story of the revitalized Giant offense was authored by a man who had waited long and patiently to write it. After 3 seasons of injury and frustration, Phil Simms showed that he does indeed size up as a giant among NFL quarterbacks.
I feel good for Phil because of all of the adversity he's had to face, and every year he'd get here and want to be the number 1, and something would happen and he wasn't the number 1. There were a lot of doubting Thomases, not necessarily here with the Giants, but affecting the Giants, the fans and such, who figure, well, once you get hurt, he's going to continue to get hurt, and we kept on saying that's not the way he is. They were accidents, that he's not a player prone to being injured. And of course, he had to fight that in his own mind. He had to go out there and realize he can play the whole game, get a hit on the knee, get a hit on the shoulder, and survive and prove it to himself, because certainly he would have self-doubts himself, but he got over that very quickly. And he hangs in the pocket, and he's not afraid to take the hit. And he'll stay there till his guys are open, and he hits them. I mean, he has all the ability. He's always had the tools. But I think one quality he has is the toughness to hang in there and complete the pass.
In 1984, Phil Simms became only the 8th man in league history to throw for over 4,000 yards. But beyond his impressive numbers, there was that one intangible no yardstick can measure. In a year where so many new faces were looking for guidance, they found it in the form of a gutsy quarterback named Phil Simms. In the season's 5th week, the Giants' offense, like the goalposts in Anaheim, crashed to the earth. Back-to-back losses to the Rams and 49ers threatened to send the Giants down to the basement of the NFC East. It was in Atlanta where the defense came to the rescue as they thundered through Fulton County Stadium with a cavalry charge that resembled Sherman's March to the Sea. Like the offense, it was youth that played a part in this resurgent unit as the defense suited up 5 new starters, including rookie linebackers Carl Banks, number 58, and Gary Reasons, number 55. The result was 4 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 1 reassuring 19-7 victory. And only the southern chapter of the Giants' fanatical following were more delighted than Coach Bill Parcells. The Falcon game was a turning point for the Giant defense, which regained a large measure of its swarming killer instinct. Their ability to stop the run, strengthened by Curtis McGriff's healthy return in 1984, was shored up by the addition to the starting lineup of number 70, second-year defensive end Leonard Marshall. While the ever-reliable George Martin, number 75, along with nose tackle Jim Burt and sack specialist Casey Merrill, gave the Giants their best pass rush in 20 years. The fortunes of the secondary rose with the continuing development of safety Terry Kennard, whose knack for keeping his head about him in key situations spread contagiously to rookie cornerback Perry Williams, number 23. While Williams displayed a nose for the football, cornerback Mark Haynes consistently got his hands on it. With 7 interceptions, Haynes secured a spot on the Pro Bowl roster, as did veteran linebacker Harry Carson, number 53. In his 9th NFL season, Harry Carson was living proof of the proverb that states, "To get old is to get better." In 1984, Lawrence Taylor took that adage one step further, proving that even a living legend can never stop adding to his long list of laurels. Statistically, LT enjoyed his most productive year as he continued to wreak havoc around the league with an extra-sensory style that stresses intuition rather than instruction.
I feel I have enough ability. If I get into trouble, I can get out of it pretty well. Some guys have to play the technique, and the technique is what gets them by in the league. I play more on instinct than technique-wise.
He has amazing instincts. A lot of times a play will come up and I'll ask him about it. Why did he do something? And he doesn't really even know exactly or can't explain exactly why he does it, but it was something that he saw and in a split second made an instant judgment that he could make the play or beat the blocker or get wherever he had to go. And he has the ability, obviously, to carry through on that. He enjoys the physical part of it. He's tremendously aggressive, at times to the point where it gets him into a little bit of trouble. But he's got that makeup of he just loves to play football. He really has no regard for his body.
Lawrence Taylor, a man whose predatorial powers have an almost mythological vein, making him the once and future king of NFL defenders. Although he is the smallest of the Giants, Joe Morris stands tall in perseverance. The Giants' running game, slow in its early development, broke loose on the heels of Stocky Joe's breakaway ability. With the offense solidified, the Giants began a 6-week surge through the second half schedule that brought home 5 victories. Stout-hearted Joe was a catalyst behind the Giants' 37-13 pounding of the Redskins as he raced his way into the end zone and into the record book. Down in Dallas a week later, it was the Giants who eventually cut the home team at its knees, convincingly crushing the Cowboys to sweep the season series. Against the up-and-coming Cardinals, a gritty goal line stand set the stage for a dramatic second-half comeback, highlighted by Lionel Manuel's clutch touchdown reception. Important as it was, the Cardinal victory paled in comparison to the events witnessed by Giant fans a week later when the Kansas City Chiefs were in town.
First down at the 23-yard line of Kansas City for the Giants, trailing by 13 points, 7:35 to play. Sims, short drop back, lobs in the end zone.
In a furious fourth-quarter rally that evoked fond memories of Giants of old named Tittle and Connerly, Phil Simms did indeed come of age. Equally resolute was tight end Zeke Mowatt, who in his finest day as a pro dazzled the Meadowlands gathering with his last-minute heroics.
2 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. Play action fake. Sims back to fire. Fires. Touchdown! Mowat! The 7th catch for Mowat. Took them over 139 yards.
The final obstacles on this pilgrimage to the playoffs were none other than the new co-tenants of Giant Stadium, who were greeted by the original occupants with a warm and neighborly hug. With number 30, Tony Galbraith, capably filling the shoes of the injured Rob Carpenter with some toe-tapping moves of his own, the Giants displayed their best balanced attack of the season. When Joe Morris finished off what he had helped spark some 6 weeks before, the Giants brought to a climax a fairy tale of a season. The turnaround complete, Bill Parcells and his team were on their way to the playoffs. By coming so far in so short of a time, these young Giants had touched the hearts of their ever-faithful following. A countrywide congregation who can count among their number one stately Giants fan of true legendary proportion.
I have an awful lot of heart for him because I know Mr. Young. I've got to get quite fond of him as well as rooting for his team. I've had the occasion to play golf with Mr. Taylor, the linebacker, so you know you get to talking to these fellas and you get to a point where you start to root for them. I'd like to see New York get in there knocking on the door. I guarantee you wherever they go, and I'm close by, I'm going to go watch that team.
In a twist of irony, the NFC wildcard playoff brought the Giants face to face with the same team that soundly beat them in September. The haunting specter of Eric Dickerson made the Giants' strategy simple to diagram, difficult to deliver, stopping the NFL's all-time single-season rushing leader and beating the Rams at their own game of ball control was the formidable task at hand.
Who made the hit?
Carpenter's first quarter touchdown played perfectly into a plan designed to keep the football far away from Dickerson and firmly in the Giants' grasp. On this day, the youthful Giant receivers glowed with a maturity wise beyond their years. And when the Rams came perilously close to tying the contest, they fell mightily beneath a defense that towered all afternoon. Appropriately, the Giants put the Rams away with a turnover. And somewhere, back in the players' minds, those preseason prophecies of a last-place finish in their own division rang loudly.
We'd like to give thanks to you for giving us the strength from within and for allowing us to come together as a team, dear Lord, and letting us know victory, not only on the field, but off the field as well. Thank you for these men of strength, the men that really live up to the name Giants.